Before we start this episode, I want to share a super exciting offer with you to celebrate Show Up and Be Heard turning 1 on the 4th of June and the Boss Your Socials Club turning 2 the very next day. If you join the Boss Your Socials Club before 5th of June when we turn 2, you will get 20% off the cost of a whole year. That makes it £192 instead of £240 for 12 months of strategy, content prompts, support, community and accountability designed to help you show up consistently without the overwhelm. Just use the code Happy Birthday, all one word at checkout, to get your discount. So head to www.BeHeardSocials.com/Boss Your Socials Club to sign up today. In the meantime, though, I'll let you get back to the episode that you came to listen to. Today is a very special episode of Show Up and Be Heard because not only is it the podcast's first birthday, yay, by the way, but also it is a massive shout out to you. I thought for ages about what this episode should be about. Should I do a roundup of the year? Should I share the lessons that I've learned? Should I go big with strategy or stories? But the more I thought about it, the more I realised what I really wanted to do was just say the biggest thank you. I wanted to recognise you and I wanted to celebrate you. Because over the past 12 months, I have shared so many honest conversations about the ups and downs of being a woman in business. The good, the hard, the messy, and everything in between. And it's all been with one big goal: to encourage you to show up as yourself, to be heard, and to build a business and life that feels right for you. But the truth is, even with all the tips and advice in the world, none of that is ever just plain sailing. There is so much emotional energy that goes into marketing yourself, showing up online, and running a business that most people will never see and most people will never understand. There's a fear of rejection, the self-doubt, the imposter syndrome, the relentless "is this even working" thoughts. They can be so real. And still, here you are, listening, learning, and showing up in your own way. So, today's episode, I want to get real about what the inner work looks like, share a bit about what's been going on in my own head lately, because yes, I've been feeling it too, and remind you that you are doing an incredible job, even if you don't always feel like it. Before we dive in, I just want to say thank you so much for taking the time to tune in to Show Up and Be Heard, the podcast that exists to help women like you simplify your business and your life so that you can stop feeling so overwhelmed. I'm your host, Becky McAvoy, owner and founder of Be Heard Socials, and I am an award-winning social media marketer and an international speaker who specialises in content strategy and organic growth on social media. If you want to cut through the noise and BS and get practical, actionable advice tailored specifically to make social media marketing accessible and easy to understand, or if you want to be part of a supportive community where women entrepreneurs can feel connected and inspired to achieve their dreams, then keep listening because you are in the right place. To be the first to find out when new episodes go live and to get more tips like the ones you hear in this podcast, make sure you join my email community through the link in the show notes. Right then, let's get started with this week's episode. Can you actually believe it has been a whole year of this podcast? Because honestly, I cannot. I am sat here with a big smile on my face, feeling all kinds of grateful. And I'm recording today just with a bit of a full heart, to be honest. It's really lovely. There is something about marking a milestone in business or in life that just makes you reflect. And sometimes actually we don't give ourselves time to stop and reflect. So I'm really glad that I have, because it shouldn't just be on the big things, but like the quiet in between moments too. And as part of that, I've been thinking about what it's taken to keep showing up for a whole year of this podcast, because honestly, it feels really huge. And I've been thinking about how many times I wanted to sack it all off. Not because I don't love it, because I really do love it, but because, like you, I have those wobbles too, those behind the scenes thoughts that never make it totally public. Like I share a lot through my Instagram and things like that, but not everything. It's the kind of stuff that, you know, close friends and close business friends get in my meltdown voice notes where I want to throw everything in the bin. And I have powered through all of those and I am really proud of myself. And, you know, I wanted to say that because I want to normalize it. Like we all feel like that at times. So before we dive in to the main episode, I just want to say, if today is a scrappy bun kind of day, which if you're watching a real clip of this, you will see it absolutely is for me, or if it's an everything going wrong kind of day, which yesterday actually really was for me, or if you are just feeling a bit wobbly or a bit meh, or you want to rip up your entire business or burn it to the ground, or even if you're having a quiet little win actually that no one else knows about, then this episode is for you, because I'm going to get real and I'm going to talk about the stuff that we all feel at times that maybe we don't always want to admit, or maybe we feel and don't think anybody else does, because it is about the part of business that no one else really sees. So let's talk about what doesn't get talked about enough, because that is what I am all about. The part of business that's behind the scenes, where you're sitting with your phone in your hand, overthinking a caption, or the part where you have poured your heart and soul into a post and then it gets one like, and that might be from your mum, because my mum does like everything that I post. Or the part where you've shown up consistently for months, you're doing the work, but your brain is still whispering to you, you're not doing enough. Because I think we've probably all felt that at times. It's the emotional labour of running a business that doesn't get included in the Instagram highlight reels or the glossy success stories that we see most of social media swamped with. So I want to say, if you have ever felt like that, you are absolutely not alone. I have been there. I'm still there some days. In fact, actually, I've been feeling a lot like it recently, and I've been living that exact reality recently. And I want to share it with you in the hope that I normalize it a little bit. And if you are feeling like this as well, just know that it is so normal. Because lately, my brain has been loud. I've been in my head more than I'd like to admit. And it's for loads of different reasons. Like, there's so many different reasons for it. It's partly because I'm launching new things, and with that comes all the feelings, right? You start wondering if it's the right thing, if people will care, if it's too much or not enough. It's partly been because running a membership is hard. Like the podcast, I absolutely love Boss Your Socials Club. It lights me up, but it is a big responsibility, and it's a lot to run a membership. And sometimes I can sit there thinking, like, am I giving enough value? Are people enjoying it? Are they getting what they need from me? And then that little spiral starts to creep in, where self-doubt turns the volume up way too high. And, you know, if I can step back and be objective about it, I know it's ridiculous. And I know, you know, things are going really well, and I don't really have any fact to back it up. But it happens and we think it. And, you know, I've said partly because of the membership being a lot, and partly because of other things, but it's also partly just because I'm human and so are you. You know, hormones, tiredness and life stuff can cloud everything sometimes. So even when logically you know you're doing okay, it's like your brain is on a mission to keep you safe by throwing up all the doubts. And I think that's what my brain has been doing recently. It's that like the classic protective brain stuff. Like, your brain doesn't know the difference between being attacked by a tiger and posting a story on Instagram. It thinks showing up is dangerous, so it floods you with thoughts like, don't be too visible, or play small, or what if they don't like it, or what if people think you've got above your station. Or again, you know, personal insight into me recently, I've been focusing a lot on my health, and I share a lot of that in my stories, and my brain's been coming in going, what if people think you're not working hard enough? What if people think you don't deserve this, that, or the other? And like I said, it can be a fleeting moment. It's not like I've been absolutely plagued by this, but my brain's just been loud recently, and it's been loud with a lot of that kind of stuff. So, like I said in the intro, I thought for ages about what today's episode could be about. And there were some really big things that I was going to do, you know, like all the lessons learned and the big strategy stuff and whatever. But I ended up realizing that I wanted to talk about this today, because the whole point of this podcast was always meant to be a space for the real stuff and the real talk, the behind the scenes stuff. And mostly for me, it's not all polished and perfect, but I'm doing my best kind of stuff, so that we could all relate to it and all feel less like we're losing the plot or going insane, or all know that, yes, we might be thinking all of that stuff, but it's normal and that's okay. And on the first birthday of the podcast, I couldn't think of a more important reminder to share than this. You are doing so much more than you think you are. You are showing up in ways most people will never see. And you are being brave enough. You are not even brave enough. You are being braver than most people will ever be. Like, being a business owner is enormously brave and enormously courageous. And that deserves recognition. So whether you're putting yourself out there every day, or just managing to listen to a podcast in the car between nursery drop off or school run and a client call, then I see you. Because, you know, showing up, the first part of showing up is the intention. So even if you haven't put yourself out there yet, even if you're just thinking about it, the fact that you're listening to this podcast shows that you are taking action and shows that you are taking small steps to get there. And that takes strength. Like, it takes real strength, real bravery, and real courage, because marketing yourself and showing up isn't just about graphics and hashtags and the latest Instagram update. It's about confidence. It's about courage. It's about resilience, and it's about goddamn tenacity. Like, it's about saying, here I am. This is what I do. I hope you'll choose me. And knowing full well that a lot of people will just scroll past or ignore you. And it's like, it's holding your nerve when you had a quiet week in the DMs, or, you know, you've lost a client, or people have left the membership, or no one clicks the link, or no one listens to the podcast, or doesn't read the blog that you've poured your heart and soul into, or you're really steadily building your email list and then you log back on and somebody's unsubscribed again and you feel like you're going backwards. And you know you're not, but it's hard. Like, and you can know all the mindset things in the world, but, you know, we are human beings and it's not a nice feeling. So, you know, what else it's about? It's about pushing through the ick when you're promoting something, even though a big part of you just wants to hide under a blanket and binge Netflix instead. And it's about the amount of times you have to say the same message just so that people hopefully see it. Most people don't understand how much it takes to do that. But I do, because I am right there with you. And like I said, this episode is really like a love letter to you. It's all about you. I want you, if you take nothing else from this, to take a moment to step back and go, do you know what? I'm a goddamn badass. I am amazing. I am incredible. I want you to say those things out loud and really power yourself up. And maybe even bookmark this episode and listen to it for those days where you are feeling really rubbish. Because there is power in showing up in your own way. And showing up doesn't always look like posting 3 times a week. Sometimes it's replying to one email that you've been putting off. Sometimes it's saying not today and choosing rest instead, and showing up for yourself instead, because you know you'll come back more productive if you do. And that is incredibly brave. And sometimes it's opening up to a business friend and saying, actually, I'm struggling a little bit. You know, I mentioned those voice notes earlier, but that is no joke. My closest business friends have had those messages from me where I've cried on voice notes to my friends because I'm feeling so rubbish about something and I'm dealing with life stuff and parent stuff and being a woman of a certain age stuff, alongside trying to run a business and show up and do all of those things. So whatever way you are showing up, whether it is, you know, in the traditional way of your marketing yourself, or whether you just do the thing that you've been putting off, or whether you choose yourself and choose rest, or ask for help and open up to somebody, all of those things count. You don't have to be perfect to be powerful. You just have to be present in your own way, and the way that suits you at that time, dependent on what you are going through. And that is why this podcast exists. It's why that's what this episode is about, because the whole reason I wanted to do this podcast was to normalize some of that stuff and to talk about it, and to hopefully just make you feel better about it and empower you. Because showing up as you are, honestly, messily, imperfectly, that is enough. And if you've listened to this podcast for a long time, or this is your first one, you will know, or will get to know, honestly, messily and imperfectly is what I am all about. So let's celebrate you as I blow out the metaphorical candles on this 1-year podcast birthday. I'm not just celebrating the show. I am celebrating you. I am celebrating you for showing up in your business when it's hard. I am celebrating you for listening when you could be doing a million other things. And I'm celebrating you for being part of this space that's real, kind, and full of possibility. And that is what I dreamed it would be when I launched the podcast. And I'm celebrating you for sticking with me, because, you know, listening to podcasts like this often involves doing some work afterwards. It's not necessarily like I hope it is a nice thing to just listen along to, but to really see the benefits of what this podcast gives, you have to go out and do some scary things, or, you know, take some action, or ask yourself some questions. So I thank you for sticking with me, and I celebrate you for doing that, because I think it's amazing. I started Show Up and Be Heard to create something that felt safe and honest, like I said. And the fact that you're here, whether this is your first episode or your 50th episode, because today is actually also the 50th episode, which feels amazing. I don't know like numbers are arbitrary, aren't they? But the fact it was a 50th was quite special, as it was like the 1 year birthday. But the fact that you are doing that, whether you're listening for the first time or the 50th time, it means the absolute world to me. So this is kind of a bit of a short, sweet episode. And I just want to give you some final thoughts. If your brain has been loud lately, if you have been second guessing yourself or feeling like you're not enough, I really hope that listening to this episode today has reminded you that you are not alone, you are not behind, and you absolutely deserve a shout out and you absolutely deserve celebrating. So I am shouting you out and I am celebrating you, but I want you to do it for yourself as well, because it is so important. You are doing something so many people are too afraid to do. You are building something on your terms. You are building the life that you want to create. And that is incredible. And it is so worth celebrating. So here is to showing up one honest moment at a time. And here is to the next year of showing up and being heard. If this episode resonated with you, it would mean the world if you shared it with someone else who you think might need a little encouragement today. And it would mean the world if you drop me a message and let me know. Like, let me know if it was something you needed to hear, or share it on your socials. Honestly, I would absolutely love that. But all that really leaves me to say is thank you for being part of this first year. Thank you for listening, and thank you for believing in yourself and for taking the first steps to showing up. I will see you in the next episode. Thank you so much for listening to Show Up and Be Heard, but please don't go without telling me your name. I genuinely love meeting new people and making new connections. So if you don't already, I'd love it if you'd come find me on Instagram, LinkedIn or Facebook and drop me a message to say hello and let me know what you thought of the episode. The link to all my socials are in the show notes. And of course, if you enjoyed this episode or found it useful, then I'd really appreciate it if you could take just a few minutes to give it a review on whatever platform you are listening on, because every one I get really does make me do a little squeal and a big happy dance. Finally, more than anything else, please always remember, realizing that you're not actually meant to do this stuff alone is the first step to making it easier. So I'll see you next time.